Good evening. It's great to be here. Thank you very much in such a late time. Um, Thank you for organizers. They asked me actually to tell you a story about Cyrkl, and I would like to tell you a couple of wild tales. But first, let me ask you: is someone here coming from the waste management industry? And please be honest. You back there? No? Okay, no one. So I can be honest with you. Great. Um, because the industry is very, I would say, different. Just Friday last week, I was visiting a founder of one small waste management company. The guy was wearing a pink golf suit with a hat. There were hunting trophies behind him. He was drinking very expensive alcohol, and it was a big white envelope on the table. I was like, Mr. Klepek, so I would love to make a deal with you, and this is the way of doing waste management. This is not happening all the time, but the waste management industry is different. The motivations are different, and not so many companies are really delivering a value that we would be expecting from them. And that's not just bad for the business, that's also bad for the planet, because we don't have a good functional business of the waste management. And our new European Commissioner, Jessica, just mentioning this, last week she mentioned that one of the biggest problems we are having is circular economy. Just imagine that in the last 5 years, because we are not able to properly manage materials, we have to extract more materials in the last 5 years than in the whole 20th century. Crazy amount of materials. So we are not actually moving forward in circular economy, we are moving backwards. And the waste management is actually the industry to blame for. And it's also a big problem because the CO2 emissions, because the half of the emissions are somehow related to materials. It's not just the energy. So it's like watching your favorite movie and just see the half the screen if we focus only on energy. So all the problems actually pushed me to start Cyrkl 2019, and we basically were fighting the problem kind of like with the information asymmetry, because we realized that companies are not aware of the value of waste. So I said, okay, so there's a technology for it, right? It could be a marketplace. So we started building a marketplace, and in 4 years, I lost half of my hair, but we built a largest recycling platform in Europe. It was a 47K registered companies. By the way, half of them were fraudsters. We used AI-based matchmaking tool to actually connect companies. So let's say Lidl uploading LDP foils, then LDP foil as a waste, going to recycling company, and actually finally the recycled content coming to, I don't know, IKEA, who actually was manufacturing out of it. And it was great. It was we are growing like crazy. And then even a new business arrived, because the companies and Škoda Auto came to me like, we would love to get help with the circular economy. Can you actually help us? So we developed a Cyrkl waste scan, providing actually a great service and consulting services to our clients. And we were really like in the depth, closing the loop in aluminum chips and everything. And it was really very interesting time. And there was a time we were chasing the carrot. We were all the time growing like crazy, talking to investor and following just one single-digit KPI was the GMV, the gross merchandise value for the investors. That's the value of all the materials. And that actually was for us the goal and also the biggest problem, because we grew even in the Fast 50, we got awards, and we were basically getting all the awards, and suddenly the crisis came in the investors, and no one was interested in the GMV, but everyone was interested in a real revenue, right? And we were at the time talking to big investors in Silicon Valley and telling them the stories about the GMV and everything, but they asked like, all right, but we need to have revenues, right? And we did not have that much revenue. So basically there was a massive problem for us. And we basically had, at what time, runway for only 3 weeks, because one investor in Czech Republic told us that in the end he's backing off his investment in just 2-3 weeks before we almost went to bankrupt. So that was for me a really crucial, pivotal moment when we just realized we need to be much more hands-on and we need to actually build something completely different. Talking about investors, there are really great investors and really bad investors, and it's quite hard to distinguish between them. But one thing I learned is that actually the good investors are having really good morale. And when the things go really down and bad, you actually, you can talk to them. The funny things are the actually competitions, because we won like crazy amount of them, and that's actually for me one of the biggest learnings. First, it's trouble for you as a startup founder because it's boosting your ego. You are thinking like you know so many things and you are getting all the awards, and you think you are the smartest ass in the room, and it's really, it's quite problematic. You do not focus on business. That's even bigger problem. And one funny story, this is actually the picture from the Rimini in Italy, when we made it to the final of the European startup competition, and we won the audience award. And this was actually in the most crucial time. There was 20,000 people sitting in the room voting for us. It was broadcasted in the Italian TV, and we won at the most critical time, 160,000 euros or 70 something. And it was a miracle. We were partying the whole night and say like, I saved the company, that's the runway for next 2 months' time, that's amazing. The fun fact is that till this time, and it's like a 3 years time, I haven't seen a single euro from this. Because they told us like later on, it's in services, there was a written somewhere down, small letters, and everything. And I just realized, well, what a bullshit word, I should just, get out and go to real world and delivering a great value to our clients, because that's the area, that's the place I need to go. So till that time, I stopped going to those events, and actually, it's much better. I also learned how to, work with my ego. The team was also a very challenging thing, because when we started, we had a very junior team. By the way, here is sitting amazing Alvin Korczak, my first CMO, who did a great job. What was your age when you started in Cyrkl, like 22? Yeah, 23, yeah, sorry. Great guy, by the way. He's now working in the Impact Hub in Brno. And the team was so junior, actually, that we had to learn like so many things together, how to do the basic things. And but the energy was great. The energy was great, even though we were scattered across like in many countries, because we were basically from the Warsaw all the way to Madrid in UK, almost everywhere. So it was also quite challenging, because every single market is different. Every single market has its own challenges, and it was also a COVID time, so we were not able to meet actually. But it was definitely very interesting to put so many like different cultures in one tribe, and it was time when we were like 74 people, and we were of course super keen to meet, right? Most of the time we were meeting somewhere in the mountains, hiking together, which was great for energy, for the stress release. One time we also booked a beautiful place, like a Winterritz villa, where we had a little rough party. 4 people ended up in the hospital. And luckily all of them are fine. And actually next day no one remembered anything, so I had to actually sum up a ethical committee to actually discuss what actually happened. In the end, we realized nothing much happened. It was a classic Eastern Europe party, but it was also funny, the cultural differences in the company. So we had to mature, but it was not maturing much. It was honestly legislation. When we started, the legislation was almost behind the corner, but then suddenly everything got delayed. For example, in Czech Republic, it's supposed to be end of landfilling by 2024. It got delayed by 2030, and so many legislation just got delayed. It was really badly influencing our business case, and I think this goes for everyone working as a startups in environment, that you count with the legislation, and the legislation is very often like a delay or a little bit different. In the end, the transposition is different in the legislation. That's a big hurdle. What was also like for us a massive problem was that we were basically the first in the market telling something about the Cyrkl waste management. So we also had to educate the market. So crazy amount of energy, time, money. We were like doing for those gatherings. We were like hundreds of them. We even started associations of progressive industry ecologists. And we were doing so many extras to the market, to educate the market. So, but it will not help you with the next month revenue plan, right? It will probably help you in some longer time, but you still need to hit your KPIs. So it's also like a very, very challenging. And coming to the most important thing, I was completely wrong in so many things about the product. And I'm coming from innovation and design thinking, so I was always very like, yeah, I know people, I know how they behave, I will do all the testing and everything, but I was wrong, and we had to like 5 times pivoted before we found actually our way of delivering a service to our customers. So just like give you a hint, the marketplace was working in the subscription business mode. So some of the companies were buying it, fine, but it wasn't skyrocketing. So we started a real-time auctions for the waste. It was a technologically well done, well written codes and product, but it wasn't extreme success. We were also, for example, doing in consultancy that we basically automized all the learnings we learned from the Cyrkl waste scan. We made the algorithm, so basically instead of paying 20k euro for analysis, there was a simple tool for just 2k euro, you can actually get the analysis. But guess what? No one was buying it because I realized that they need to meet the consultant, shake the hands, get the coffees. We were running so many things that actually no one was truly interested, but they're beautifully technologically done because we very often underestimate how the market is slow and how people actually love to do the things the same way as they're doing for so actually many years. And that got us to the final, and this is beautiful, sexy slide, and think what we do today actually, because we learned that there's only one thing that companies would love to do, and that's nothing. They would love to externalize the problem. They would love to have someone who actually will take over the problem you are having and solve it for you, which is completely fine. Because the Škoda auto is here to make cars, the IKEA here is here to make furniture. And I was just too dumb and too slow to realize this for like 5-6 years time. So what we do today, you might be asking, is actually, it's called a Cyrkl Waste Management Copilot. So we basically taking over completely waste management of the company. We run everything. We have our own pressing machines, our own people here, and basically we optimize everything. And we are basically slowly but surely expanding this and like actively managing this. And on the top of that, we are building the digital platform and the other things which are important, but more for us because we can manage more clients. Not for the client. They are having like ESG reports, inputs, and everything. So there are massive amount of learnings from me. And now after 6 years, we are finally landing on the value proposition I hoped to have since day one. And now this is the new thing. It's a recycling waste management solution. We have basically 3 verticals. And we are doing it for so many good brands. It's Cyrkl Consultants. When we're helping big brands, it's a Cyrkl Waste Management Copilot. We're completely taking over the waste management. And it's the do-it-yourself way. That's the marketplace and connect. And basically, it's really shocking for me how many years it took me. But at the same time, now this is the first month we turn profitability. I can't wait to go to bank instead of crazy fundraising. I'll probably use investors in the future as well. But what is the most important for me is really that we are finally providing a great value to clients. The clients are happy. We see everything is really like a holding together. Team is happy, and actually looking back, it was a great experience for me because the most things I learned about myself, and I'm really privileged for this journey. So thank you for being here still. Thank you for all the support from all the Czech people actually here, and also European people supporting us for all the way. And I promise that actually in the next 5 years' time, we will do something about the usage of materials, because I really believe that now we are on a good track and we will use those experiences to build something really meaningful. So thank you very much. Enjoy your time. I hope we will see you all in a bar today and celebrate this beautiful day. Cheers.